Today's conversation is one of the most raw and real we've had in a long time. I'm joined by Myer Krah, a father of five and the creator of Here for the Dads. We go deep into what it really means to be vulnerable, why emotional intelligence matters more than ever, and how we as fathers can build lasting legacies through conversations, community, and coaching. If you're a dad trying to grow, this one's for you.
Don't move. Keep it locked. You already know. You're listening to the Fit Fatherhood Podcast. And we're having conversations with dope dads covering the 4 pillars of fatherhood. We call it the Fit Fatherhood Formula. Faith, family, finance, and fitness. That's right. These dads are setting the pace in business and fatherhood. This show isn't only about the outside success. We're getting down to who you are. Gentlemen, it's time to get fit. And now, let's get into the show.
All right, welcome back to the Fit Fatherhood Podcast, a podcast for fathers by fathers, where we talk about the 4 pillars of fatherhood, which is faith, family, finance, and fitness. And I'm excited. I've been trying to put this together for a while. I saw this brother on Instagram, and it doesn't happen often. I'm lying. It happens quite often because I'm always looking for fatherhood content. But when I see somebody and they say something that deeply resonates with me, and I'm like, man, I really got to get in touch with this guy. That doesn't happen that often, right? I see a bunch of stuff, right? Because there's stuff out there now. Now, if you're into fatherhood and you really are trying to be a good father, there is a lot of information out there if you're looking for it. But when it's personal, right? When somebody is saying something that's coming from their own experience and sharing their own life, it's different, right? It's different than just someone saying something that they heard before, but saying something that they experienced. And so I'm excited to have this guest on today. And I know you guys are going to get something from it because I'm getting something from it, right? Like I'm cheating. That's the whole purpose of the podcast, right? But my guest today is Myer Krah. Myer, how you doing, brother?
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing
Happy
good,
to
man.
be here, bro.
I'm doing good. I'll let you guys that are listening in on a little insider secret. We've been struggling getting this thing set up, man. not only going back
Kicking
and
our
forth
butt.
trying to find times, but you guys know how it is. Anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And from internet to phones to plugs to everything, but we got it going because it has to happen. So I'm excited, even more excited because we overcame some obstacles to get here.
Absolutely. That's fatherhood though, right?
Yeah.
We always got to end up figuring our way through something, man. Learning no matter what it is.
100%. And talking about my phone, so it was at 10% when I plugged it up. It's at 11, so we moving in the right direction right now, baby.
There we go.
All right, so for guys that aren't yet following you, they will be following you after this, but aren't yet following you or kind of introduced to you for the first time. Would you tell them a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. So I would say I am first a father, right? I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a veteran. I was in the Navy for 10 years as a commissioned officer. Spent most of my time in Norfolk, Virginia. I went to Guam for a little bit. Left Guam because we found out that we can't have twins there. So we left Guam and came back to Norfolk. And then since then, we moved closer to family. So I'm a father of a 7-year-old boy. I have a 4-year-old boy, set of 2-year-old twin boys. And I finally just had my baby girl in March. So I say I'm done. There's been conversations about that, but I guess I kind of got a race to the doctor. The doctor's the only one who can assure that I'm finished because after the twins got here, I said that I was completely done, and that kind of changed everything. But I'm a fatherhood advocate. I love being a dad. I love being home. I love being with my family, and I learned that there's a lot of work to do in the space. And when I say in the space, I'm talking about in my home. And there's other fathers who have questions, who have trials, tribulations. They just maybe want to talk to somebody else about it. And I feel like men aren't having enough conversations. So me being able to just lead with my vulnerability and have and start conversations is essentially what my platform is all about. So if you're not following me, it's a Here for the Dads, the number 4. So here, the number 4, the dads. And that's all I do, man, is I start conversations, build community, and just talk about this fatherhood stuff, man, because it's important.
Yeah, man, I 100% agree. I think, I think more now than when I started doing this, And maybe that's just because, the way the algorithm works, right? Or just because, like I said, you find what you're looking for, right? Like you type in something to Google, it's going to give you those search results, right? And so if you're looking for fatherhood information, you can find it. But I don't think it's just out there, just like, where you can kind of like stumble on it, right?
Agreed.
And I do
Agreed.
agree that guys, I mean, that's just the way we are, right? We don't have those conversations. We don't talk about our struggles because we have some fear that people are going to see that as weakness. But the reality is, and the thing that I've learned in doing the podcast and talking to other fathers is that fatherhood, one, doesn't have a tax bracket, right? Like there's fathers of all different levels, of all different ages, races, creeds, colors, all that stuff. But we all have some similar struggles, right? Like I'm talking to guys who are running multi-million-dollar companies and guys who are, cleaning up at the local gym, and they got the same stuff going on, man.
Same story, man.
And so I think we have to do a better job of having those conversations. And that's why I'm glad that guys like you are out there actively doing it and being vulnerable, right? Like sharing your own stories and letting guys know that they're not alone.
Yeah. And I recognize now, I didn't recognize it before, how just the position of fatherhood can transcend all of that stuff. Like we all grew up from different places. You're a Bay Area guy, right? Bay Area guy out in California. I'm here. My dad's African. I meet a whole bunch of people in the Navy. Some played football, some didn't. We have all these different backgrounds. When we talk about fatherhood, it looks the same.
Yeah.
Now, of course, we don't have the same exact journey, but there's things we can resonate with and things we can have conversations about. And you recognize that although we see this space and the algorithm turns you to somebody that might be talking about one thing, like, oh, cool, they live in Atlanta, but fatherhood is global. So as long as I can speak another language, we could talk fatherhood.
Yeah.
Like that's a big deal.
Yeah, 100%. You know what? That's funny that you said that. So a couple summers ago, we went, my family went and toured Southeast Asia, and we were in Bali, and a driver that was kind of driving us around. We got to talking. He was talking about his daughter, who is a very accomplished artist, and like he's driving like a taxi, but his daughter is like this like world renowned artist, right?
Like a pop star or something.
Yeah, like, and he was just talking about it like it was normal, and then he showed me a video. And I'm like, oh man, like there's like thousands of people watching her draw, right? Like, what are you talking about? He was like, yeah, she draws, she does some art, but he was just talking about like raising her and like being a father because I got girls and he got girls, and again, we speak different languages. We're in a completely different parts of the world, like completely different, right? But that connection was there, and like it was very easy to have that conversation, and we could have talked forever, right? And because he's an older guy, his daughter was older, there was so many questions I could have asked, and like it doesn't really matter who you are, where you're from, or what you're doing. If you're a father and you're committed to fatherhood, there's a difference, right?
Yeah.
That connection is
Ooh,
there.
there's a difference. I like that you said that because there is a difference.
Yeah. There are definitely a lot of men that are fathers, but are fathers biologically, but aren't fathers. I don't know what the other word for that would be. You know what I mean? But definitely
Yeah.
not present and available and involved the way that you and I are. But even with those guys, right? Because some of those guys are maybe not present and involved the way they want to be because of situations, right, or circumstance. But the conversation is still the same. You know what I mean? Like you can still have some of those same conversations because once you accept the responsibility, and that's a key point, accept the responsibility of fatherhood, then you feel some of the same things.
Absolutely. It changes you, bro. Like it really does. And especially when you're talking about like accepting the role of being a father, even when it looks different for somebody else, because everybody could have situationships, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still, even if I don't have that story, I still want to be able to talk to that dad to see what's going on, see how I can help. Because when it comes to the commitment level, there's places that you can commit to. But when you're in that situationship, let's say you're not physically present or you got something going between you and the lady or like whatever that might be, there's still a way that another father might be able to help you.
Right.
And my job sometimes is to try to connect those dots or at least ask the question, because even if it's not a situationship, it could be like past traumas. Like you got some fathers, a lot of young fathers who are now dads, and they're like, well, I never had no dad around, and I don't know, it just kind of seemed like too much, and I don't got no money, and they just get scared, and they scare themselves out of it.
Mhm.
And the other side of the pew is like, well, don't worry, I can do it. I got a job. I do this all by myself. I ain't gonna put you on child support, whatever. You can just do whatever. And now they have this like secret thing that's going on in their head where they do feel guilty of not being around and not being committed or present. And if men aren't having the conversations, I don't know how to shake that man out of that
Right.
and how to get them into the right space and stuff unless we're having the conversation.
Right. And then the other side of it too, for us on this side of that conversation, is there's a lot that we can learn that maybe we don't understand about their situation, right? Or maybe we don't understand about their version of fatherhood, right? And I can gain some empathy, or I can gain some insight into what's going on, because being in this position, I talk to a lot of guys who, I mean, and just the way it is in America, right? If half the marriages end in divorce, much of the guys that I talk to aren't living in the home with their children. I don't have that
Yep.
experience, right? Not as a father, right? I lived through it as a child, but I didn't have that. I don't have that experience as a father. So when I'm having those conversations, it's important for me to listen and learn just as much as it is for me to share information, right? Because
Absolutely.
that gives me a comprehensive understanding of what fatherhood means. Because when I live in the house, it's easier, right? Well, maybe not easier, but it's easier for me to have impact because I have more touch points, right? But if I don't live with them, then if I only get them on the weekend or every other weekend, then I gotta, you know what I mean? I gotta kick
Yeah.
ass on those couple of days that I got
Yeah.
them.
And that's a lot of pressure. Like there's already a lot of pressure on us now as fathers who are present, who are home. Imagine only getting the weekend and you're trying to squeeze all of this stuff in. And we probably even have conversations with our spouses about like discipline and what we're gonna do when they do this. Imagine trying to do that in 2 days, where you want to be the nice guy, the happy person to create the moments and to discipline your child. It's not easy. So we got to create empathy for that and understand what that might look like and be able to help in a way that might be a little bit different. I've been talking to a lot of people about co-parenting, and I've been actually like looking at laws and policies because in America, it is very much like that. There's this social understanding that, like, if marriage ends, they're going to automatically just go with the wife
Hmm.
and with the mom. And that's not necessarily right. And I think that what we're doing right now of showing that dads really do care and having these conversations and presenting ourselves up front with what our lifestyle looks like, it might change the norm just a little bit.
Right.
And it's not to remove the child from mom, it's just to do the best for both, not even for both the parents, do what's best for the child, making sure they have equal benefits to be able to go to both so you can get as balanced as you need to be and really give the child what they need. And of course, this is excluding like any like domestic abuse or anything like that when we're having those conversations, but really giving the child a chance to like be whole
Yeah.
the best that they can be with their parents.
Yeah, that just gave me another level of empathy that I didn't even think about, because I'm talking specifically, like I've talked about on the podcast, like me and my dad we had a lot of conversations, but we didn't have like a lot of fatherhood conversations. Or, I say his generation of men is just a little bit more stoic than ours, right? Like they're a little less
Yeah.
open with their feelings and emotions. But I'm thinking about it as, so you just said, if I only got to see him every other weekend, if he spent the time we had together and we didn't go have fun, or we didn't go play basketball, go to the gym, go to football games, like we didn't do those things and we just sat around talking about our feelings, I might have been like, yeah, I don't really want to go to dad's house this weekend.
Right. It might be different. Like, especially you talking about like a developing child, depending on the age, you're like, can we go to the pool, daddy? Like,
Yeah.
I'm trying to go hoop. Like, can we kick the ball around? That's a lot to try to pack in there. And every child is different too, though. So it's like maybe some children can do that,
Right.
but maybe not every father is equipped to do those things too, because it comes with practice.
Right.
Like I do a lot of stuff wrong with my kids, man. Like I'll say one thing and I was like, ooh, maybe that was a little bit too tough. Like do I need to apologize and go talk to my wife? I'm like, yeah, you need to, okay, so let me go back and do this. And then I'll be too soft with another one. I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to turn it up. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
It's practice that goes with that, and it's the exercising that not every father gets a chance to do who might be in those situations.
Yeah, but I think what you're talking about right now is expressing a lot of emotional intelligence, right? Because you got some social awareness, some self-reflection. You're actually concerned or care about like how you're showing up for them, which is something that we don't we don't get no education on emotional intelligence, man.
No, man.
I didn't even know that there was more than 3 emotions until about 4 years ago. Like I was happy, I was mad, I was sad. And then my wife showed me this emotional intelligence wheel and it's like 100 emotions. I'm like, yeah, ain't
Bro,
no way
yeah.
people feeling all that stuff. Like, there's no
And my sister, she's a family and marriage therapist, and she handed us that same wheel. And she was like, "You just keep saying you mad, like, but I feel like there's a little embarrassment. Like, there's some other stuff in there. Like, just tell me what's making you feel." And I'm like, "I told you how I feel." And then she handed me the wheel, and I was like, "Oh snap! This is what you've learned. This is what you're doing."
right.
And she's really brought it to me and my other siblings who are not yet fathers. But it has helped, not just with having kids, but with myself and with my marriage. Honestly,
Yeah.
just being able to create a stronger emotional intelligence and understanding really what that means and how it can help us.
Yeah, yeah. My daughter, my first daughter, she doesn't know, but she helped my marriage tremendously, right? Because I
Wow.
became a better man because I became her father, right? And my wife will tell you I
Tell me
became a
about
better
that.
husband because I became a father. Like, just I wouldn't say that I was ignorant, but I was set. You know what I mean? Like, I was who I was, and I didn't have any additional need to be more emotionally intelligent. Like, me and my wife had been together for 10 years at that point. Like, we was good. But bringing this child into my life and feeling these different emotions because of her, right? Like, I don't know if this happens to everybody. Maybe I'm just soft, but when I had my daughter,
I'm soft too, bro.
man, it's like I'll watch a Disney movie or I'll see a TV show or I'd like just I'll see an Instagram clip where like a dad is showing like he's proud of his kid. I'm like, oh, come on, man.
Bro, with every child I have, I get softer and softer and softer. That's why I said that I do also have to stop having kids because I'm just going to be a ball of tears like
Oh
all the
man,
time.
soft
I
serve.
really feel like I'm wearing my emotions on my sleeve a whole lot more than what I ever had. And I think the first moment of recognizing that was after having a baby and you go to the grocery store and you see another person or another family with a baby and you give like that little smile or whatever. I was like, I've never smiled at another baby before. Like I've never cared
Get that
about
kid
that.
out of here.
But now, like I can feel everything and it's helpful. I do have a question of is your daughter oldest? Is she the
I
oldest?
have 2 girls, yeah, but so there, yeah,
Oh, you got two
yeah.
girls. Oh, okay. So, that might be hard. So, I was gonna ask if, because you said it helped your
Hmm.
marriage, um, if it would have been the same or as fast if you had a boy first. And the reason why I asked is because I spoke to a guy. He runs Kill Pride Club for Men. It's a club that just has hard conversations and talks about mental health and manhood and talk about fatherhood a lot. And I remember him mentioning somewhat of the same thing. He said, I had my boy, and then when I had my girl, it changed my marriage and the way that I operated around my wife and
Hmm.
how I appreciated her. I was just wondering, have you seen that difference, or do you think it was specifically because of her gender?
Yeah, no, I obviously can't speak to the difference between having a son and a daughter, but I can tell you from my own experience and from the experience of the men that I know who have daughters, whether they're first, last, middle, like and you probably are experiencing some of this too now that you have a daughter. There is a different like appreciation for the little girl that your wife once was, right? And
Mm,
because you've got a level of emotional intelligence that's a little bit heightened already, like you notice like the the way that I show up for her is how she's gonna have men show up for her later on. Right? Like I'm her first example of what masculine love is. And so I've gotta treat her and like I can't I'm now that they're older, I can be tougher, right? Like I can be a little harder and I can, do some things where maybe my wife is like, "Yo, why are you talking to him like that?" Uh
yeah.
but cuz they need some tough love. Like there's no way around it. They do need some firmness. But I think the level of care and attention that you take to how you show up for your daughter or daughters is is maybe a little different, and I don't know if that's right. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's okay because I feel like that's probably why, as men, we don't have a lot of emotional intelligence because nobody really gives that to us. It's like tough
Yeah.
love and, you know what I mean? To stand up, stop crying, like that kind of stuff. Um, But I do feel like that just like seeing and the other thing is like they look like her, right? And so,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, like it bleeds from that relationship into the other one.
Wow, that's beautiful, bro. There's so much in there too, because I mean, you specifically said the little girl in her, and I feel that because he also, when I spoke to him, he also mentioned that, and I feel like a lot of times we're also still healing the little boy in us. Like my whole, like we didn't get no blueprint, we didn't get the instructions on fatherhood. Like fatherhood can be extremely challenging, and when you realize that you want to be an intentional parent, what you end up changing the most is not the kid, but
Yep.
yourself. Like you end up having to increase a lot of different areas that you may be lacking in. And it often takes us going all the way back to our own childhood and recognizing how we learn certain things, why we feel the way we do, and why we're treating our children this way. It's normally because of something that happened then. So it's like, it's just this loop of like how it's getting done. And it's so cool that you was like, the little girl in my wife.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I'm looking forward to it. Like I'm trying to beat my own mind to it. Like right now, I just had a little girl or whatever, and I haven't had that experience. I haven't felt like, oh my gosh, she's making me, look into my wife as a little girl. But right now, knowing and hearing from other dads, I'm like, okay, maybe I need to pay attention a little bit more when my wife is talking and ask the questions about her behaviors and how this may have stemmed from, her being a little girl and how it's carried on into her adulthood.
Yeah.
So appreciate that. I thank you.
Yeah. All of it, right? All of it, as you said, like you have to become a better version of you. What happens, right, when you're being an intentional parent is you realize that you have to become a better version of you, right? Like they say, if you don't, whatever you don't heal, you hand down, right? And so if you aren't repairing and fixing who you are, those same things, will be passed down to your children. Your same, maybe not in the same way, right? Like the trauma that you experience they won't experience the same exact trauma, but they'll experience your reactions to the trauma and how you
Absolutely.
parent them, right? Like if I go outside today and I trip and fall on the first step, right? When they go outside now, right, and I know they're going outside, hey, don't look out for the first step. Now I'm not allowing them to experience it. And maybe I go even further, right? Like I'm gonna make sure they don't trip on the first step. I'm out there with a jackhammer, right, tearing the first
Yeah.
step up.
Mhm.
So they don't get a chance to, one, they don't get a chance to learn, but two, I'm not even allowing them to experience the world the way that they should or could because I'm so damaged from what happened to me.
Absolutely. And I've lived this. I'm living this right now. Like I'm trying to shift it back around with my oldest. I've recognized in me just being vulnerable that I was like the be careful, like dad. I was like, oh, don't do this. You don't want to do that, or hey, don't hurt yourself. And I was removing opportunities for him to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And even in my own self, like I can be very critical of myself. And I was passing that down verbally to him, like every time he would do something, not recognizing that I was trying to correct every action. So now that I've realized it and I'm trying to back down from it, it's become a real challenge to get his confidence to a place where he doesn't feel like he needs my approval first, for him to go out and make his own mistakes. It's become a real challenge, but because we're conscious of it, there's a possibility we can shift that.
Right.
But it's like if I didn't, if I didn't try to work it into myself, and if I didn't catch that, now we have a grown man who is still looking for approval from his father or from somebody else and still afraid to take risks. And that can trickle down into how not just your manhood, but when you're married, your wife's looking to you and your kids are looking to you, and you're too afraid to make the first move or to make a decision. So it's like the actions that we take and that we make and what we're teaching to pass it down to our kids aren't only just affecting them, but we could be affecting their family
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Like this is generationally
Yep.
that we're passing it down.
Yeah, 100%, man. The generational trauma isn't always like the devastating stuff, right? It's not always like if something happened to somebody. It just could be just as simple as you're saying, like you're trying
Yeah.
to protect him, right? And you're trying to make sure that he is safe, which is your job, right? And sometimes you could do your job too well, which
Yeah.
doesn't happen too often in America. Everybody's trying to like do just the bare minimum, right? Like I want to do just
Yeah.
enough to still get paid what they're supposed to pay me. Anything more than that, they need to give me a raise. But I think fatherhood is different, right? Like in fatherhood or in parenting, like we want to do more than, like we want to try to exceed above and beyond what we're even capable of, and sometimes that works against us, and we may not even know it. But again, being self-reflective and having some social awareness, it definitely helps in guiding you. But it does add another level or layer of pressure or stress or whatever, however you
Yeah.
categorize it, right? Like I know this June is Men's Mental Health Month, and we kind of talk about like some of those different things that are going on with guys, and having the ability to talk about it. But when you see a guy living a great life, he's got a nice house and cars and family is beautiful and everybody's happy. There's still a lot that guy's dealing with, right? Like to get to that point, there's still a lot. And like I was watching, it's funny. Do you watch I wasn't watching the whole podcast because it's too long, but the Joe Budden podcast?
So I might have seen a few
He-
clips.
so-
I catch the clips
yeah, I'm a
sometimes
clip guy.
because they are too long.
I can't watch 4 hours of anybody, Joe Budden or otherwise.
I'm like,
So I see the clips, and there was a clip of him and the whole cast, right? But Mark Lamont Hill was talking about he was dealing with depression, and Joe's like, "What are you depressed about?" Because if you look at his life, right, he's on TV all the time. He's got good money, like he's taking care of his family. And to the outside, it looks like, hey, you got nothing to be depressed about. But the reality is that man is dealing with just as much as us, and the pressures of dealing and providing that life that he's created for his family.
and that ain't easy. It's not easy. Adding all that extra stuff on there, it's like, oh man, we have to have more grace and empathy for other people, man. We really do, because you really have no clue what people are going through. I think I was reading might have been like a quote or a meme, and I think it was Robin Williams, and it was like, people don't fake depression, they fake being okay.
Ooh,
Like everybody else is going through something, no matter if you know it or not, and we have to be empathetic and we have to have grace. Like just because somebody has something that you want and everything looks good on the outside, like Instagram being one of the biggest things to show that, like, oh, everything looks good, and you have no clue what's behind the camera. Like you have no clue what's going on in somebody else's life. So understanding that and not being so quick to like question other people when they're actually trying to come out and tell you what's going on, and actually validate how they're feeling, so that it becomes normalized for us as men to be able to talk about it and to know what to do and to take the next steps. And I don't think Joe Budden, I think I saw that clip. I don't think he was trying to be like super mean. He was, asking the question, and he might have been a little honest in the way that he used his tone and asked, like, what are you depressed about? But
right.
that was just keeping it real. And sometimes the conversations have to be had. And I'm glad he was at least vulnerable enough to say that, because
Yeah.
material things not just going to fix how you feel.
Right. Yeah. And I think that again, we talked about it earlier in this conversation, is that is one of the conversations that we aren't having, along with talking about fatherhood and talking about some of the other things that talking about being a husband, talking about raising it. Like we don't have those we talk about the GOAT, right? Who's the GOAT? We will talk about who's gonna make the playoffs, who's gonna win the championship. We talk about those kind of things. We talk about the draft and why Shedeur Sanders didn't go higher. We have those conversations, and
Yeah.
we'll go back and forth for hours, right? And have passionate debates about it. But then when it comes to something that's a little bit more real, we're like, go talk about that, man. Nobody cares. The number one reply is no one cares,
Yeah.
right? Like,
Yeah.
why would I tell anybody? They can't do nothing about it, and no one cares anyway. And that's to me is sad, because there's a lot of guys, and obviously we know statistically, there's a lot of guys that literally go to the grave with these problems and never have an opportunity to unload, right? Just maybe one conversation could have been the conversation that shifted the tide, right? It may not have gotten rid of the problem, but at least it would have relieved some of the pressure, right? And I think we have to do a better job as men, and that's why I'm glad that there's guys like you that are providing space for men to be able to do that. Whether it be just asking a question, right? Because I can be flipping over this thing in my head over and over and over again, trying to figure it out on my own, banging my head on the wall. This isn't going right. That isn't going right. And it might not be because like lack of effort. I just don't have the information, right? And somebody else might. You know what I mean? Like I might ask you something that is super simple to you, and like you be like, oh yeah, no problem. Just do that, right? Like if I got a problem with my plumbing, I can ask my neighbor to try to do it on my own. But if I hit a plumber, he's like, oh man, yeah, just hit the valve, do this, and boom, no problem. You got it covered. And I think that's what we have to do a better job of.
Yeah. And be okay when we don't have the answers. I think some fathers and mothers, we put this pressure on ourselves that once we become parents, we're expected to have the answers. Yes, our children are expecting us to have the answers because they don't know no better. They come to us for everything. But we have to understand that we don't just become these super all-knowing beings, and that we need to be able to lean on and relate and talk to other people and have the question. And I think that for some men, even if they want to have the question, they don't know how or where to start. Like they've never had these hard or weird type awkward conversations with the guy that might be the closest to them. They know them for 12 years, maybe more, but they never really talked about anything. And something traumatic or bad has to happen before they actually start doing it. And I recognize that now as I'm working with more men and having these conversations, that my job is sometimes just to give them the tools, like to let them know what it sounds like to start the conversation. And I tell them all the time, like, start with the elephant in the room, or start with ripping the Band-Aid off and just saying like, I don't know how to ask you, or saying like, hey bro, I know we don't never talk about this, or hey, like, I don't know if you've been through this, or hey dude, this is jacking me up. Like you can start with that and then plug in the blank wherever that is. And I helped a guy like through a situation where he felt uncomfortable in his own home trying to parent one of their new children because he felt like his wife was hogging the parenting. And we like our friends, and we've never had hard conversations before. And finally he was just like, hey bro, I don't know if you like been through this or anything like that, but like, I feel like I can't do nothing with my kid. Like every time I try to like do a bath or do something like that, she's just always telling me I'm, wrong. And I'm like, hey bro, I've been through that. And he was like, whoa, wait, what? Hold on, the fatherhood, dude? You like, dog, different dads go through different things. We have different challenges, but sometimes when we have the same, we can help each other out. So I was able to help him out in that arena, but it was only because he brought it up first. So sometimes us having these conversations and teaching other guys how to use those communication tools to just lean into it, we have the locker room back again. We can talk again. And it's not just about football and Shedeur Sanders, which I love. I love to talk about football and Shedeur Sanders, but we get to talk about the real stuff that's affecting our lives.
Yeah, and you know what's funny about that? You said in the locker room, right? When you're in the locker room with your boys, you could talk about anything and everybody in the way that you can talk about them, right? And there's no political correctness. Like you're saying whatever you need to say, right? Now, we have, and I'm just like you, bro. I got friends, and it's not even until recently. Fatherhood, dude, talking about your feelings. I didn't talk to nobody about it. You know what I mean? Like I got stuff going on. I'm kind of like cheating in podcasts, asking people I don't, I don't really know, but they got some, you know what I mean? But my boys, we spend every weekend together and they don't know what's going on with me, right? Like we talk about everything but that. Until recently where I was like, you know what? And I was talking to my wife and I was dealing with some depression on my own. And I'm like, hey, I got to talk to somebody. I got a therapist, but I'm talking to him. I don't really know him, right? I know him because I've been in therapy with him for like a year and a half or whatever. So I know him that way. But like once the session is over, I got to wait 2 weeks before I could talk about it again. You know what I mean? And I got some tools and things that I can use. But if I want to have another conversation, I got to wait. So I'm like, I got to do something bad. She's a therapist. She's like, well, you got all these friends. You got friends. Why don't you talk to them? I'm like, man, they don't want to hear about it.
Yeah, like that, man. Yeah, nah, I ain't, or I don't want to. They got enough going on too, so I don't want to. I don't want to put my problems on them.
Exactly that. But then what I realized is when I had to pick one, I had to pick a guy. Somebody I thought that I could handle it. That had enough emotional savvy to like, okay, This is what's happening, right? So I got some friends that like, yeah, it's not gonna be a good conversation because all they're gonna do is
Yeah.
roast me. As soon as I say it, it's gonna turn to a roast session. And I'm not gonna get nothing out of it,
And that's just
right?
keeping it real. We do have some that just aren't mature enough for that conversation.
That's it.
That's just
That's
keeping
it.
it real.
And that's cool. That's cool. That's not their role, right? His role is to bring the comedy to the group chat. That's cool. And that's my boy. And if anything happened to him, I'm 10 toes down. I've taken care of his family, like all that, right? But we ain't having no real conversations about much of anything. But I ended up picking a guy, and what I realized too is he doesn't have to have the answer. He just has to have the ear.
Bro.
You know what I
Oh
mean?
my God. I know this is
Because
your podcast, but you gotta say that again. Oh my God. Oh my God.
because
No.
we're talking about, like, we don't know how to ask the question, and that's our hang up. And then when we do ask it, we're expecting an answer, but not really. I just need to get it out. I just need to put it into somebody else's head and get it out of mine. Right. And if you don't have a response for me, that's cool. But now I know it's two people working on this problem. Right. And you maybe aren't going to work as hard as me, but you may come back in a couple of days and this has happened. For a couple of days, like, yeah, man, you know what? We talked about on Sunday, that she was dealing with X, Y, and Z, and I thought about it. And on my break at work, and I just hit ChatGPT and dropped it. And you know what I mean? And this is something that I'm already working on, trying to figure out on my own, but just a little thing like that. Somebody else is also concerned about what I'm concerned about. Not that he has to do anything, not that he has to have the answer, but just know that he's in the fight, right?
Bro.
He don't have to throw no punches, but he could be in my corner. Right. And that's all that matters, right? Like, I'm not going out there alone. And that is enough for some situations. Some situations you need the answer and you need the help, right? But in some situations, you just need somebody in your corner, like, hey, man, go out there and get it, dog. I got your back. I don't know how to answer the question, but I understand and I'm empathetic. And whatever you need from me, I got your back.
Bro. Just sit here with me. Just sit here with me.
That's it.
In it. And
That's it.
Oh, man, bro, that is so strong. Me and my close friend RJ, we talk about that a lot. And I always talk about the 3 C's of fatherhood, which I can believe could change anything. It's conversations, community, and coaching. And what you're talking about right now is that community piece. You don't have to have the answers to everything, but just being there and lending the ear to somebody does tremendous work. Like, I believe so much hurt, so much of the depression feels dark when you feel alone. Like, it's the loneliness in it that makes you spiral. And when you're able to get some of it out or know that somebody else knows it, it feels different. And that's what a lot of different emotions, like, for me personally, I was going through like this imposter syndrome. Like, here I am starting this fatherhood thing and things are actually going well. And I'm like, hold on, people know my name. Like, oh my God, I got like followers and stuff now. And I've had all these different plans and goals that I wanted to meet regardless. But now as I'm trying to meet and do these events and stuff like that, imposter syndrome is starting to creep in. And I'm asking myself, like, who cares about that? Like, why would somebody want to come to one of your things? Like, who are you? What is you're saying so much more valuable? And I had to stop myself and remember that this friend of mine, RJ, who was also a father, made me vow that when I have these certain feelings that I would come to him and just mention it. He's not going to try to answer it, but I have to at least mention, like, hey, bro, I'm tripping, I think. I don't know. You might have to tell me if I'm tripping. I'm trying to do this thing. And I think I'm having imposter syndrome. And putting that out there in the open, just saying it made the problem smaller. Like, immediately it made it smaller. Because now all he gets to do is help me challenge the lie. Maybe ask me a question. Maybe sit there and say, hey, I felt that before. Oh, dude, yeah, that sucks. It just opens it up so that you're not alone and things get smaller that way. They might not fix it right away, but like, bro, oh my God, that's amazing. Like, and that's so true. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, and let me help guys out, because I know we're talking about emotions and that's a foreign language. We're talking about conversation and that's a foreign language. You played football, right? I see the jersey in the background.
Yeah.
What position you play?
So I went from DB to outside linebacker.
Okay, perfect. I play outside linebacker too.
Okay,
So
smooth.
let me use football to kind of make this analogy, and we'll talk defensive side of the ball, right? As we'll start at the first level. So our DN, right? He's rushing the passer. He's not thinking about the receiver, but his ability to rush the passer gives the DB the opportunity to cover the receiver in a way that is advantageous for him. He doesn't have to cover the receiver, but if he gets off that block and chases down the passer, it makes the job of the DB a little easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the DB he never has to rush the passer unless we send him on a corner blitz or something like that, right? But if he covers the receiver well, the edge rusher now has more time to get to the quarterback.
Yes, sir.
So I don't need you to rush the passer. Like, I just need to know that you just in the fight with me, right? Like, we don't ever have to call as linebackers, right? Like, if I played a little bit of inside, right? So let's talk about if my 3-tech just swims the guard, right? He's in it. He's trying to get payday, right? He's trying to get back there in the backfield and make something happen. And that guard climbs up and eats me alive. I'm going to be pissed off. Regardless if you make the play or not, like, your job is just give me a little chip, right? Go make the tackle. No problem. I love that. But give me a little chip, right? Just share with me a little bit. Right? Because now maybe we both get in there, or you get the tackle, the ball pops out. Now I can scrape over the top and get, like, now we have opportunities to support each other. And again, feeling like we're on a team, right?
Yes.
It just, even if we take it to, like, just like we playing some 2-on-2 basketball, right? I got the ball, but if you cut the lane, right, you know that I can see you. You may not even score on that, right? I get you the ball, then you kick it back out to me. Now I'm open because they crashed. Like, there's little things that we see in sports and other things that we do, and we communicate, right? There's a whole bunch of talking on the football field. There's a whole bunch of talking on the basketball court. Most successful companies, there's a whole lot of conversation. There's a whole lot that's happening. Obviously, in the military, there's a lot of conversations and communication, right? If there's no communication, everything falls apart. But then we get into our personal lives and we zip it, right? We don't talk to nobody.
As if we're supposed to do it all alone when there's so many people who actually care and, like, love you and want you to have these conversations and want you to talk to them. Because even if we're talking about the defense, right, we're talking about 3 technique just swims. Let's say after the play, you go up to him, you're like, yo, like, what's going on, bro? Like, you just left me out to dry like that? And then you hear, like, him say, well, oh, my bad, bro. I didn't know. That's huge. He thought he was doing something right. He left you out to dry because he didn't know. Now, if you had talked to him about the play beforehand and he knows his role and how y'all work together, that's what it's supposed to look like in your friendship. Like, if you actually talk with the dude that you know might have the capacity to help you out with your emotions or mentoring you in a certain space, or because they've been there before, now they know their role. How many times have we seen men commit suicide and then you see their friends later say, like, if I would have knew, if I just would have knew, I could have possibly helped. So sometimes our job is to talk to each other about, hey, how can I be a role player in your life? Like, how can I be a better friend? How can I be, that person that you might need when things get hard? And everybody don't got the same role, like we talked about. Sometimes it's the comedic guy. Maybe he's going to show up to every single one of my kids' birthday parties. He's going to bring all the coolest. He's going to make sure everybody okay. Different people got different roles. And it's not that we're trying to let somebody out to dry. Sometimes we just don't know.
Yeah. And the 2 things from that. One, I don't need the 3-tech to just stand there and hold the guard. Right? Like, I don't need you to solve my problem every time. Now, sometimes that's great, right? Like, and sometimes if we run in a stunt, that's exactly what I need you to do.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah, please do, right? Like, get blocked. Go ahead and get blocked. Let me go ahead and get the glory. but it just doing a little bit gives me enough time to do what I need to do, right?
Yeah.
In the instance of the comedic friend, he may not be the one that I can share my feelings or my struggles or my thoughts with, but he takes the pressure off of me having to be the one that is the life of the party. Like, that's just not even on the table. That's him, right? Like you say, he come to the party, he bring the coolers, he bring the laughs. Like, I don't have to worry about that. Like, that's not even in my thought process, because I know when he shows up, he's going to take care of that. That's one thing off my plate. I don't have to worry about like performing for nobody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And everybody plays a role. I think we don't have enough conversations about what roles everyone is playing, right? Or that we even have role players in our life. Like, we try to just, listen, I'm the superstar on the team, right? That means the wins and losses are on me. The points scored, points against are on me. Whether we have jerseys for the team, if we got water and Gatorade, like, we put everything on us. And then we wonder why, like, why things are happening the way they are for men.
Yeah.
Or then we blame society. And this is like a kind of a slippery slope, right? Because it kind of goes both ways. We'll say society doesn't care about men, but then we perpetuate the stereotypes of manhood that don't allow society in.
Yikes.
Right? Like, we'll be like, hey, no one cares about us. But then if you if I ask you how you doing, and you be like, oh, I can't complain, and I'll be like, yeah, nobody will listen anyway. So I'm reaffirming in you that you can't talk about what's going on with you.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, we'll later on have a conversation where, like, oh man, nobody cares about us.
Like, bro, you part of it. You part of it. We gotta stop doing that.
We in the mix, right? We're constantly kind of putting ourselves in this bubble of I don't know, man. It's almost like we're protecting ourselves from the outside world, but we're also insulating ourselves from help.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's a hard place to be in, because you have to lead with the vulnerability that nobody taught us how to use, that somebody told us if they like poked the heart that we would just bleed out and die, right? Like, it's so frightening to do that. Now I like try my best, like, to lead with my vulnerability. And I've learned that from Tim Ross. He talks about his vulnerability being his superpower. And I recognize the more I use it, the more I feel like I'm giving somebody else the gift to use their own. And the more I say, like, oh, this exact thing is happening in my life, they're like, oh, bro, me too. And I was like, man, would he have told me that if I didn't say something about my own? And I was in the space too that also was like, oh man, don't nobody care, or like nobody wants to hear that. And because in the Navy, there's that culture too of like this stoicism, and you got to get it, how you live. And like, no, you don't have a space and a time to be soft and to do those things. And I had to flip the script, because we're all still human and people are still going through these things. I lost enough people in the military to not war, I'm talking suicide, because there was this huge thing that was going on at home that they were spending most of their time with us during the day, but weren't able to open up about that thing at home. And I was like, we gotta cut that out. We gotta figure it out. So I almost overshare sometimes. It's probably cringy for my wife, who's an introvert. Like, people ask me like how I'm doing or whatever. I'm like, man, it's crazy, man. I body training my 2-year-old, man, daggone tissue. Then, I done went through the tissue or whatever, and I'm just all messed up for the rest of the day. And I'm just oversharing sometimes, because I never know what it's going to give me. And I never know what it's going to make the other person feel like they're able to give me too. So yeah, it's our job to change that, but we do perpetuate that a lot.
Yeah, yeah. And I think what you're mentioning when you talk about leading with vulnerability is empowering to the people that you're leading, right? Because for example, even the conversation we just had where we're talking about football, if I didn't see the jersey behind you, right? Obviously, I did some research and I watched some podcasts and I listened to, so I know you played football, right? But the jersey in the background gives me an opening to have a conversation, right? The same way, like, if I was a military guy and I knew you were Navy, like, we would have that same opening for conversation. We have so many of those openings with other guys. Like I said, fatherhood is a throughway, right? It doesn't matter who you are. Manhood is a throughway. It doesn't matter who you are. Being a husband, like, being a brother, there's all these things that we have in common with other people, and struggles that are common with other people, but we don't allow other people to have the opportunity to connect with us.
Wow.
Because connection gives way to potential hurt. And if we're going to protect ourselves, then we can't connect ourselves, because that's going to lead us to a problem. And I think that's just a flawed way of thinking. I think, if we are, I hate using the term alpha males, if we're like the leader, we're the guy, and we kind of hype ourselves to be that thing, then we should be able to handle all the things, right? You still there?
Yeah, I was gonna let you keep rolling while I try to hurry up and plug the battery up.
No, you're
My
good. You're good. You're
bad.
good. You're all good. You're all good. It's been a comedy of errors in this podcast, but we still rock.
Hilarious, man.
And it's all good, because we'll be able to edit it all. And I think if nothing else, right, the audio of this episode, I think this episode is already phenomenal. Like, I don't.
Feel good to have this.
It is one of the best episodes that I've had in a little while, because it's authentic, right? I feel like it's vulnerable, right? We're just having conversation. And I think that's where we need to be. And I think this is a good example of that, right? I might not even edit out the fact that stuff has been going on and going wrong, because that's a part of it, right? Somebody might be starting a new podcast and get discouraged because the mic ain't working, or, the camera is going in and out. But being vulnerable, hey man, we had some struggles in this episode.
Yeah.
We couldn't get this thing together, but we continue to fight through it together.
It's another one of those examples of outside looking in. Like, you can be so intimidated before going into a podcast. Oh, they got these great clips. And when I set up their schedule, it sent me an email back. And I was like, oh, I don't even have that stuff set up yet. I don't have a website. And then you find out they're going through some of the same stuff you're going through. You're like, oh, okay. Like, let me stop freaking out. Let me just be consistent. Because consistency is what will get you there. Like, stop looking at everybody else and just get your own stuff done. So yeah, you're right, man.
It's funny. I'll be telling my wife all the time, because I'll be doing like coaching calls, or I'll have like a team Zoom meeting or something, and she'll be like, "Should we be quiet? Like, you want me to take the girls out?" And I'm like, "No, it's a fatherhood. Like, it's a fatherhood
I'm so
call.
glad
Like,
you said that, bro.
A kid in the background crying is perfect. Like,
I'm so glad.
Somebody fall down the stairs right now so I can talk about it. Like, and then we go. Man. It doesn't matter because it's real, right? And my whole thing is like, even in fatherhood, if you can show up authentically you, even though you're trying to grow and become better, because you should be, but if you show up authentically as a leader, as the man that you are, and with the obstacles that you have, and you still show up, it endears people to you.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey man, listen, I know we got this one-on-one coaching call, but my kid, you hear him. Like, I can pretend like I don't hear him, but I know you hear him.
Yeah.
I see the mic. I see on the Zoom, it keeps lighting up around me, and I'm not talking. So I know you hear him.
Man, it is so affirming to hear you say that, because I had to make sure I made that vow to myself and to my family too. Like, I was like, if I'm gonna do this content stuff, I'm gonna do it my way. And it's going to be as authentic as I can possibly give it. Yes, I'm going to learn some tools and call to action, and maybe I'll take some brand deals and stuff like that. But when it's me, you're going to know it's me. And my wife will always ask, because now like her sister comes over and helps me record and behind the camera, just so I can get things done a little bit faster. But she's like, you want me to take the kids outside? Like, are we too loud? And this, I'm like, no, babe, like, we're good. Like, if you want to go outside and y'all kicking and stuff and it's too distracting, like, do that. But if you just go back and listen to some of my videos now, you can hear, of course I try on CapCut to do the enhanced audio, and so you can like actually hear me talking. Right, but if you hear on like 2 or 3 of the videos, you hear in the background my 4-year-old like, Mom, Mom, on different videos. And I remember like just going back and listening to it. I'm like, yeah, he does say mommy a lot. Because she's always talking about how it's just nonstop, mommy, mommy, mommy. You can even hear it in the video. So it's just like, you get it and we get it. And showing up authentic is doing more than we think it is, because there's conversation around toxic masculinity or what fatherhood is really supposed to be. The more times we show up exactly how we are, we're giving an opportunity to show what it actually is. We're not doing what you say is on this paper or what manhood is supposed to be like. We're not doing what's on this paper about what fatherhood is supposed to look like. We're showing you what it is. Like, this ain't no joke. This ain't no paperwork. This ain't no theory. This ain't no book. This is what it is.
Right. Yeah. And I think the more people do that, right? And it's cool to have polished videos, and it's cool to have, high quality content. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't do that stuff, right? Because I still want to have high quality content because I understand the importance of that on the platform,
Right.
right? But in real life, it gets messy.
Yeah.
Like, in real life, like, it's not as clean cut. Sometimes it's production and it looks really good and things just happen exactly where it's supposed to. Sometimes I say it's time to go and everybody got their shoes on and they're the right
What?
shoes.
I
You
ain't
know
never
what I
had
mean?
that happen.
You know? But more often than not, somebody don't have on their shoes. Oh man, I forgot my socks. I got to go back upstairs to get my socks. Let me get my water bottle. Like, we can never get nowhere on time if we try to get there on time. The only way we are on time is if we're early. And the more people know that, the better. You know?
You teaching right now, bro. I hope these new dads that are listening to are hearing this because this is all good stuff. And these are all things that we all deal with too. So as people hear us talk about it and keeping that real in there, it's like, hey, bro, you're not alone. Like when you see that other family there on time, they fought to get there too. They might have argued all the way to church. Like everybody's going through their own stuff. If I could tell you how many times we got in the car and everybody didn't have their shoes. I remember getting to church and my 4-year-old didn't have his shoes. I'm like, I don't even know what to do. We went into church with no socks on and no shoes on.
Yeah.
He just gonna stay in
Hey.
it. But it's like stuff you go through sometimes, and it's just keeping it real.
Yeah, like you say, come as you are.
There we go.
Oh man, you know what? This is something for guys that listen to kind of think about is when you see, because obviously they're gonna be following you, they'll be following me, so they're on social media, whatever platform that is. When you see a post that resonates with you, that's regarding parenting, it's usually something like whatever it is, right? Look at the number of shares, right? If they allow that, right? Because you can block that and hide the number of shares or comments, whatever. If you look at the number of shares, people are sharing that to their story or with their spouse or other parents because that's real. You know what I mean? Like
Mm-hmm.
it's stuff that's really happening and it's not just you. It didn't resonate with just you, right? It is other people out there that are struggling with the same stuff you're struggling with. And it's okay to have the conversation about the thing. It's okay to have the thing happening. It's okay to ask questions about how to fix it. And it's okay if there is no fix for it, right? Like I still haven't figured out. I got a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. I still haven't figured out how to get people to get their shoes on in a timely manner. You know what I
Me
mean? It's just
neither.
it is beyond me. I get my shoes on. I know I put one foot, other foot, boom. I'm out to like. I don't know what it is in their shoes. They're like Woody from Toy Story. There's a snake in their boot. Like I just
Yes,
don't know. I'm not really sure what it is, but we can never get. It's to the point where my oldest will like she'll get her shoes and just kind of sit around with them. Like what, bro? You're sitting down. Like you're as
bro.
close to putting these shoes on as you possibly can. And then she'll be like, all right, it's time to go. And then she'll just like stuff her foot in and walk on the back of the shoe that I paid for. If you don't
Mine would
sit
put
your
them on and take them off. I don't know why they do that. They put them on and then they take them off. And I remember my sister used to do the back step on the back of the shoe thing, and my daddy hated it. He's like, I paid for them shoes. You messing them up.
man,
Jeez.
she'll put them on and she won't tie them. I'm like, I don't care if it's 4 steps to the car. If you stepping on them laces, like you don't care about me, you don't care about your grandma, you don't care about your ancestor. Like you like, oh, come on, man, put them shoes on right.
Put them shoes on right, man. And stop taking your shoes off in the car because we finally got here. And now I got to wait for you to put your shoes back on. But
Oh my God.
it's so funny because here we are, the dads now yelling and arguing about it. But this was us too. And I don't think they're ever going to get it until they build the perspective of being a parent. And that's
Yeah.
what it's like. I have gone back to my mom and dad so many times to be like, I'm sorry. Like, I know I put you through some stuff. I get it
Uh-huh.
now. When you said that you couldn't, like it was so loud in here that you couldn't hear yourself think, I get it. I know what you're talking about now. Like when you say, dang, we can't keep nothing. I get it. I know what you're talking about now.
Man, listen, the loud and the we can't keep nothing. If we, what's the funniest thing about it is we'll buy. What was it we got the other day? Have you ever had cotton candy grapes before?
I actually don't like them, but I don't know why. My kids just keep buying them. But yeah, we got
Okay.
them.
All right. So we got some the other day, and the same day, right? They crushed the whole bag. I don't know
Jesus.
how two people as small as they are crush the whole bag of counting. And you know those are premium grapes. They're not the the $1.99 a pound. Those are
Oh
like
yeah,
three,
no, no,
four,
no. You
five
paying
dollars
for
a
them
pound, right?
grapes? Yeah.
So they crushed $15 of grapes, right? And then so the next week I'm like, all right, they love these grapes. So I'm gonna get some more, but I'm gonna get a little bigger bag so they last a little because I want some grapes too. Man, they act like they act like them grapes was I don't even. They act like the grapes were the Brussels sprouts of the '90s.
Like the
You know
one
what I mean?
Rugrats
Like,
used to be talking about, those Brussels sprouts, like the worst things in the world.
yeah,
They
like
didn't touch them. I know they did.
no, we don't like those. You don't like them. They're too sweet. Too sweet?
And they
What
crushed
in
the
the?
other bag.
Who
My kids do that
are
with
you two?
bananas, apples, pretty much every single fruit known to man. That's what they do. They will go through the whole, like, especially if they ain't never had it before, they will smash it. I'm like, oh, babe, next time we go to Costco, we gotta get 2 of these.
Yeah,
Before you know it, everything will be brown. Everything. Your whole
yeah,
house will have gnats and all type of stuff. They will act like they didn't even see it. And it is crazy. I will never be able to calculate how children eat fruit.
yeah. I don't like those. I don't get it, man. But it's one of those things, right? Like it happens in every household. I'm sure I did something like that, some version of that to my parents. And maybe this is what goes around comes around, right? And it's getting me back. But but I could just struggle with it on my own and not talk about it. But the reality is hey man, look, these kids won't eat these damn grapes. What are you doing to get your kids to eat grapes? Like what
Mm.
what and
Talk
you
to
can't
me.
figure it out, right? You can't figure it out either. Cool. And I know I'm not alone. I'm not the crazy one. These kids is crazy. I'm a good dad. These kids is the problem.
I like to say they must have got it from their mama. They
Yeah.
didn't get
Oh
it from
yeah.
me. They
It's
got
all
it
her
from me.
fault. Yeah. Yeah. Hey man, so we've talked about a whole lot. This is like I said, this has been not only an informative podcast but a fun podcast. I think there's a lot that guys can take from this conversation and continue to grow in their fatherhood, manhood, or just in their community. Do me a favor. Can you talk a little bit about what it is that you do specifically with fathers? Because I know when guys hear this, they're gonna want to like connect with you, right? Because shoot, I want to get in the community. You know what I mean? Like, and so I know guys are gonna want to. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. So as far as fatherhood advocacy goes, I recognize that there's so many avenues that I can take it. And I'm still somewhat new in it because I'm starting coaching and all that good stuff, but I'm trying my best to place myself as a hub to do those 3 C's: the conversations, the community, and the coaching. So if we just start with the first part, right? Let's say you want to be more educated as a father. Where I would start would be to follow my podcast. If you want to start having harder conversations, to be able to talk about your mental health, to be able to gain the communication tools on how to have these conversations, follow the Instagram and follow the podcast. Because all I'm going to be doing in there is I'm going to be bringing on people with experience, other fathers who are in the same place as you to have these conversations. And it's not all about having the answers. It's just about saying, hey, I've had this experience and I recognize others have had it too. And at other times, you're going to see me bring on professionals because I've had a thing where one of my kids needed speech therapy and I felt a way about it. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to bring all my emotions about speech therapy and I'm going to bring a speech pathologist onto the podcast. So now here we are having conversations about IEPs and our children's schooling and homeschooling. There's so many conversations that dads don't either get to see because it's not happening on their social media, unlike maybe some of the mom Facebook pages or social groups that we are now exposing to those spaces. So that's the first part. That's the conversations. The next part is the community. I'm going to start creating more workshops, more virtual like cohorts that's going to allow people to get together and have conversations like that too. And I'm still a hub for other communities. So the library dads, anytime I go there, I'm making sure I'm recording it and I'm showing other people, hey, this might be happening in your city. Reach out to these guys. And I'm going to be the leader of the Daddy Stroller Social Club that's going to be launching here in Atlanta, July 12th. And they have that already in 12 other cities that's going to be launching. So let's say you're looking for a community that you want to physically be a part of. You also want to follow my Instagram because I'm a hub for that. I'm going to be talking about this all over the place. And then the last portion is going to be the coaching. I'm creating a curriculum. I'm already starting to write a book, and I want to make sure that it has some backing behind it too, because I recognize the weight now as people are coming to me. Although I'm able to give them my experience, I want to make sure I'm also giving them something that has some type of research or science background. So if you want to follow along with there, you can always go to my website right now and you can set up and you can actually register to get the emails and be prepared for when the courses come out. And that's hereforthedads.com. And that's not the four, the number four, that's HEREFOR, thedads.com.
Awesome. Yeah, man. I'm excited for your journey. And I say that as someone who is also in the same space, because I feel like the more of us that take on this responsibility, just like the more of us take on the responsibility of fatherhood, the better the future becomes, right? The more quality fathers we have in the world, the better off the future is, right? And so when you do what you're doing, when you create or you have the conversations, you create the community, you give the coaching, those guys that you're affecting through those three avenues are going to go into their household and be better fathers. And then because of their better fathers in their household, then their neighborhoods get better, their communities get better, the counties get better. Like things start to spread. And if we want to see change in the future, it starts with us. Right. So I just want to, one, say thank you, but then two, give you some encouragement, brother. I think you're on the right track. I think you're doing exactly what you should be doing. Hearing you talk about the 3 C's just now, there was passion, there was conviction, there was honesty, it just flowed, right? Like it was almost like it just, not that you read it, obviously, but it just came out. There was no like when I'm talking right now, like there was a little stutter right there. I had a little pause because I'm trying to piece it together. That was just smooth, right? And that just lets me know that this is the journey that you should be on.
Thank you.
Right.
I appreciate that.
So
And I'll tell you,
I
man,
got a
I'll tell
couple
you how I
questions.
got it. I know this is a small piece, but I
Do it.
fasted for the first time ever this year. I had never fasted before. I didn't even know it didn't make sense. I was like, I don't know what's going on, but I fasted for the first time this year. And at the end of that fast, I was like, well, nothing has happened. I had probably had like an hour or two left. And I just woke up from a nap, dog. And I was thinking about fatherhood the whole time. And God had placed something on my heart. And I came and I sat down at the computer and the 3 C's of fatherhood just flowed through my fingers. And I was like, okay. So that's what you hear. It is conviction, but God gave it to me. So I wanted to
That's
make sure
awesome.
I add that in there.
That's divine intervention, right? I love that. All right, before we hop out of here, I got to ask you the traditional Fit Fatherhood podcast questions. And I think being who you are and hearing you speak, I think this is going to be a little bit different. No pressure. Say whatever comes to your mind. We talked about a ton of stuff, obviously fatherhood and the Fatherhood podcast, but I would be remiss if I didn't ask you, what does fatherhood mean to you?
That is a good question. I want to say what I believe fatherhood is an opportunity. Because fatherhood can mean so much to so many people. For some who have never had a father, some who are looking to rewrite a story on fatherhood, some who are looking to be a stronger father. There's so many different opportunities to touch, to change, to implement in your local community, in your household, to understanding even your relationship with God. Man, like fatherhood, I would say, and I'll just keep that short. Fatherhood is an opportunity. You can fill in the blank for yourself, wherever that may be.
I like that. And I like that you left it open because it could be opportunity to X, opportunity to Y, right? It's based on you, but it is an opportunity to do, right? To take action on something or with something.
Yes,
I like that. If we did this thing right and we marketed the podcast the perfect way, or let's do this, content creator, social media. You have created a piece of content that is perfect. It is hitting all the metrics. It has your target audience nailed down, and you got every father to listen to it. What do you want that to say?
Now, would this be the title? Or it's just everything is just queued up?
It's perfect. It's a perfect moment. They like, I don't know what happened to the algorithm, but boom, every father has it in their hand right now, and this is what they hear.
You are a father, and no matter what you do, no one can take that from you. So give yourself grace, because that is already enough. We just
That's
leave
it.
it right there.
Yeah. Affirming, reaffirming, confirming. That's all of it.
Yes,
Okay. All right. So now, since we so expertly did that, right, and we got all those fathers involved, we're gonna niche down a little bit further, and we are going to create another post. That last one got millions and millions, billions maybe, right? I don't know how many fathers are in the world, but let's say billions. This next post only gets 5, but those are the 5 most important people in the world. Those are your kids. What do you want them to hear?
Ooh. Those are the kids.
Your
My
kids.
Ooh.
Your kids.
I haven't said anything yet, and I'm getting emotional. Daddy tried with everything he had, and I recognize that that wasn't always enough for you. I validate that. I understand that. And I recognize that it's not always okay. I'm going to continue to listen, continue to validate, and be able to change in hopes to be whatever it is that you need. But I want you to know that Daddy tried, because to me, intentionality and trying is truly all that you can give. So I love you, and I want you to do the same.
Man, listen, my sincere hope is that you, well, obviously you said that with emotion, right? And so that's something that you believe. My sincere hope and what I think I know, right? I think I know your kids are gonna feel that from you, right? They're gonna know that you tried with the best intentions and you gave all that you had, even when they were like, Dad, why are you doing it this way? But they are gonna know 100% that you are all in for them, no matter what the circumstances may be. And I'm excited for you and all the things that you got going on. I'm excited for the kids to have a father like you. I'm excited for the community that's directly around you, the social media community, podcast community, because everybody benefits when somebody's committed, dedicated, and authentic. And I believe you're just that. So I want to say thank you. Thank you deeply from the bottom of my heart for taking the time, for struggling with me through all the tech issues, for having the wherewithal to continue to push forward, to share your stories candidly, to be open. I 100% appreciate you joining us, because I know as a father how important time is, right? I know it's not easy to block out an hour or hour and a half to try to, do something for somebody on the other side of the world. So I really appreciate you taking the time, and thank you so much.
Man, it's been amazing being here, bro. And I wish I could do this all day. And I appreciate you for just allowing me to come out and just say how I feel, and then doing the same and meeting me there. What we're doing is I think going to change our children's lives, and it's going to change how they parent. It already is. So thank you.
100%. 100%. All right, brother. I'm gonna let you go. Try to figure out what the heck is going on with all this tech around here. Probably smash some computers and rip some cords out the wall. You know how it is.
Oh,
Be
yeah.
on be like Office Space and take it out to the field, bang that thing out.
It'll work
But
after that.
Right? As soon as we get off, everything just comes back on magically. That's how it goes, right? But no, seriously, I appreciate you spending the time. Thank you so much. Hey, man, if this episode hit you like it hit me, do one thing for both of us right now. Share it with another dad who needs to hear it. And if you're ready to go deeper in your own journey as a father, visit youcancallmecoach.com. youcancallmecoach.com to learn more about what we're doing to help men lead with purpose. And of course, make sure you're subscribed so you never miss a moment like this.